Welcome back. This week we've been discussing Raleigh Union Station. Of course, there were several challenges to overcome during every step of the massive project. Here to give us some insight is Priscilla Williams, the City Construction Projects Administrator. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know, how can you put it in a half-hour show? How in the world do you get everybody to work together to build something what I consider massive as this Union Station? How does that work? How do you go from point A to point B?
Well, it starts with a pretty robust planning process, and you have to take into consideration the end user, the owner, neighbors, exactly who has say in what, and also the regulatory agencies. So coordination with stakeholders was probably a lot of the challenges, the source of a lot of the challenges that we faced initially.
Is it all the pre-planning, and once you get to the construction part of the project, it pretty much does itself because you planned? Is that how it works, or is that still a big headache?
It's sort of how it works. So we delivered this through CMAR, Construction Manager at Risk. And so what we did is we had a relatively collaborative process between the designer and the actual contractor. And so what happens as a result of that is there's some synergies that you realize from the professionalism from the designer and also the experience and professionalism of the contractor. And so that's the method that we utilize to deliver this project. Inherent in that, though, is a lot of coordination, talking to each other. So we meet a lot. We meet to talk about the plan, we meet to talk about the design, we need to talk about everything. So there's a lot of planning, a lot of meetings, a lot of emails, lots of visits, lots of inspections, lots of communication.
Yeah, I can imagine that, and you kind of alluded to it, that the big picture of it, it isn't just so much as the actual construction, but the location, the people, the neighbors, the impact it'll have on the community. How do you weigh all those things in the process? And you're communicating with the neighbors as well as the construction people. How does that all work?
So our communication on the construction side, we get into more of, is it going to really be a pain in the neck for you if you live close by?
Right.
Are roads going to be closed? Is it going to be noisy? Are you just going to have a whole bunch of busy activity around you? So we try to let everyone know who's going to be adversely affected sometime. And then we also want to let them know that this is a small price to pay for something that's going to benefit more people on the other end. So at the end, you may forget the little bit of pain you had to deal with in the beginning. And that's our hope. It's a beautiful structure. If you had an opportunity to see it, it sits out, it stands out. It's very nice.
Oh, it's beautiful. It really is. You don't have to tell me, but how were the neighbors? How did, because it is a big project and there is noise and there is a lot of construction going on. How were they?
Well, they really weren't around in the beginning because if you build it, they will come. So what we're really excited about is some of the new construction and new development that has come about as a consequence of its location to the Raleigh Union Station. So we've got the Dillon across the street, and we've had some other relocated businesses. So I think that there's going to be new excitement to surround there. And I think there was pretty much an opportunity for optimism and possibility of what Raleigh Union Station would bring to that neighborhood.
Oh, I can imagine. What's an LEED building? What is that?
So it's a LEED building, and it stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design.
All right.
It's an initiative by the U.S. Green Building Council. And what it does is it tries to incorporate environmentally sustainable approach to design. So we have some special features at the Raleigh Union Station. One that's most notable would be the green roof that's over the concourse. So you'll actually won't see just a regular roof, but you'll see plants and grass and different vegetation on top of that. We also have a bee garden, a bee pollinator garden in the back. And so you've heard a lot about the importance of bees and how they're kind of dying off. So we have a bee pollinator garden in the back. There's lots of natural light that'll come through Raleigh Union Station, and so it takes advantage of that. And then there's LED lighting throughout. So there's some environmentally sensitive aspects to the design and also some sustainable aspects to the design.
And how does that impact the building in regards to, I guess, costs, energy saving costs, that type of thing?
The goal is to have a decrease in energy consumption and also costs. So we'll be able to monitor that more after the building's actually in use to see how well we were able to design it so that we could get some cost savings on the back end operationally.
Now, how does this compare to other projects you've been involved in?
It's probably been one of the most challenging projects that I've had in my career, but it goes down in the history books as probably one of the most rewarding as well.
As you look back over it, all those meetings?
All those meetings, and I'm
Was it worth it?
fortunate. It was worth it, and I had a great team of folks to work with in the construction management division, so I need to give them kudos as well because they did a super job.
So it is about teamwork and the ability to
absolutely
communicate to one another. Otherwise, you'd never pull it off. And the end goal is to not only have a functioning, obviously, Union Station, but it's economic impact in the area, correct?
It is.
And you're seeing that begin to happen.
We are, definitely.
That's terrific.
It is.
Well, it's so nice to visit with you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I gotta go take a tour. Can I get a tour?
Absolutely.
Oh, see, I know people. I know people.
We'll make it happen.
Thank you, Priscilla. When we come back, we're going into further detail about Raleigh Union Station's operations, so stick around.